Will the IRS seize my spouse's car? That's the question that we're answering here today. I'm Darren T. Mish. They call me the IRS Solution Attorney. The answer is, it depends on a number of factors. That's usually my answer, isn't it? It depends on a number of factors. Let me give you an example. If the returns in question where the balance is due are joint liabilities, that means you file them with husband and wife, or I guess nowadays husband and wife and wife. It just depends on married people. Then, in theory, a spouse's vehicle is an asset owed by or owned by a taxpayer that owes tax debt, so theoretically it's subject to seizure. Vehicles are not normally seized, by the way. The IRS is not really that interested in seizing your vehicle unless it's very appealing. I tell a story about one time I represented a corporation that owned a free and clear Corvette. It was a very high-end Corvette. This has been about 15 years ago. It was a very high-end Corvette, and it was worth about $25,000, and it was owned free and clear. In that case, the revenue officer was very interested in seizing that vehicle because it was the only remaining asset of the company. The company was defunct, and it's quite easy to seize a vehicle. They do some paperwork, and they send a tow truck down. They accompany the tow truck, they hook up the vehicle, and they take it to an impound yard. Now, how common is that? It's not that common. It's really not that common in personal income tax cases at all. It's slightly more common in corporate or payroll tax cases, but again, not particularly common. Most people don't have that much equity in their car, and the IRS is only allowed to look at what's called the quick sale value of the asset. That's only 80% of the fair market value, not 100% of the fair market value. So by the time you discount it by 20% to get to the 80%, and then you subtract what is owed by most people on their vehicles, there's little to no equity. In that case, there's absolutely no possibility that the car will be seized, your car or your spouse's car. It's just not going to happen. So let me change the question here a little bit. Will the IRS seize my spouse's car if it's only my liability? Like, you had the liability before you got married, or you filed a married filing separate return, and so your spouse has no obligation, no liability for the tax debt. Well, the answer then is clearly no, because it's not their tax debt. The IRS can't seize your spouse's vehicle any more than they could seize my vehicle for your tax debt. It's the same, it's the same thing. Now, this does vary a little bit in community property states. If you're in a community property state, this video is not for you, okay? If you're in a community property state, I'm not going to list them all here. I believe there's 12 of them. They tend to be states that used to be part of Mexico, including Washington State, maybe Oregon, I'm not sure. And I know Wisconsin is community property as well. So California and, a lot of those West Coast states that used to be part of Mexico years ago are actually community property states. In that case, your spouse's car is sort of part of the community, and so it could be subject to seizure. But again, vehicle seizures are not terribly common. I did my best to answer that question. I started out thinking it was simple, and it ended up getting complicated real fast. If you have questions about this or really anything else that has to do with IRS problem resolution, I invite you to visit our website at getirshelp.com or give us a call at 888-438-6474. That's 888-GET-MISH.